chapter, so avail yourself to those quick review videos if there's a need in your life. For some of you, there are needs there. Okay, so let's talk about money. We're going to talk about a lot of aspects of money today. And first off, probably with money, you're probably better off thinking part equals percent times the whole. That kind of seems to work a little bit better with money instead of number equals percent times the of number. Be careful when you're rounding money. You should either round to the penny. Right? Would you ever want to say $7.2? I mean, we don't talk like that. We say $7.20, right? So again, make sure you round to the penny. Put that zero there if it's, 20 cents, right? Makes sense? Or sometimes you're going to round to the dollar. A lot of times with tips, we'll round to the dollar because you don't want to tip your waitress or waiter, $5.37 usually, all right? Unless you're giving them all the rest of your gift card or whatever. All right, anyhow. So round the penny, round the dollar. All right, tips. Tips are really easy. Tips is simple to figure out. It's simply the tip equals the tip rate, whatever rate you want to tip them, times the bill, the check, the amount of your meal, right? And in this case, the tip is the part, right? And the bill is the whole. All right, your tip is the part, and the bill is the whole. So tipping, really pretty simplistic. Not a whole lot to it. So a problem like this. How much money should be given for a tip if the meal costs $75.87 and they want to tip at 15%? You might say, well, what is the amount you're supposed to tip? It really is up to the individual that's giving the tip. The tip is a gratuity. It's something supposed to be, it's something you give in respect to service and good service. Some tip used to be 10% was the tip, then 15% was tip, and nowadays 20% is more normal for a tip if you want to be generous with your tipping. All right, but again, that's up to the person that's giving the tip. So this is a simple situation. The tip, and I just usually abbreviate, equals the percent times the bill. Again, these are pretty simplistic because all you're doing is simply multiplying through. Now, if you ever got to find the percent, you'll just use the formula. It'll allow you to solve for it. But we're trying to find the tip, and we're doing 15%. Of course, we know every percent is in decimal form. And you're going to multiply that times the $75.87. So it's just straight multiplication. And in this situation, you're going to have to decide whether to round up or round down. If you're a generous person, you'll round down probably. If you're not generous, you'll round down. And if you're generous, you'll round up. So what do we get? 75.87. So the answer is 1138. I mean, that's what it says. So a technical answer of exactly 15% is going to be 1138. But what are you going to leave? Right? If it says round up the nearest dollar, then round up. I mean, most people are going to leave $12. It's usually what you're going to give your server. You're not going to give her $11.38. And some will give $11, and that's fine. Maybe the service wasn't all that great. Maybe you give $10 because you didn't really like the service. But that's the idea, right? Tips, not a whole lot there, not difficult. Even finding the rate isn't hard. So question B says, if a $9 tip was left for a $44 meal, what percent was the tip? Again, that's pretty simplistic. If you just do the tip equals the percent times the bill, right? Just start with your formula. Fill in the parts and let the math tell you what to do. Right, so again, I'm just abbreviating tip equals a percent times the bill. So the $9 goes in for the tip. Percent is what we're looking for, 44. And we've done these enough, right? You're going to divide both sides by 44. Always remembering that percents are always in decimal form. And so you're going to take your 9 divided by 44. If you want to read the answer in your calculator, what would you do? Somebody tell me if you want to be able to read the percent in your calculator. Christina? Multiply it times 100, and then you'll read it right on your screen instead of having to change it in your head. So this looks to be 20.45%. So that rounds off to 20.1%. So I would just round that off to 20%. Tip. What must have happened is the person probably rounded up, right? You know, when you look at your screen, it says 20.45. Realize, okay, it's really a little bit more than 20%. So what did they do? Instead of giving the person $8.90 or something like that, they gave them $9. Make sense? And so just going to round that to a percent. I'm not going to be picky on those kinds of things on your quiz or test. It's just some common sense thing with tips and such. Okay? So tips are easy. Those shouldn't be hard. You guys shouldn't have trouble with those. And remember, does my answer make sense? Should be asking, does my answer make sense? If you got a tip of 80%, you got to wonder, man, this was the best service in the world, or this guy really wanted to give away a lot of their money. You just need to think. All right, second area is commission. People that make money off of their sale get what's called commission. This is for people that are in sales. A lot of automobile salesmen get commission. Realtors get commission. Sometimes you go to H.H. Gregg or you go to Circuit City, you want to buy a TV. Usually they make commission. In other words, if you buy something, they make money off of them selling it to you. And the more you buy, the more they make, because the commission is a percent. So if you're going to buy a $300 32-inch TV or a $1,000 68-inch TV, what do you think they want to sell you? They want to sell you the $1,000 68-inch screen TV because guess what? They get more money. So that's just the reality. And it's nice to find an honest salesman that wants to take care of you. They're worth their weight in gold, and some are honest like that, and they realize, hey, I'm going to be honest, and more people will come to me because I'm honest. I wish the whole situation was like that. But anyhow, commission's easy. It's the same situation. The commission is a part of the whole. It's the same situation. The commission is a part of the total sales. Part of the total sales. If you sell one item, it's a percent of that one item. You know, realtors sell one house at a time. You know, if you're an H.H. Gregg, you might not just sell the TV. You might also sell them a mounting bracket to mount it to the wall. And you might sell them, here's the really big bucks for them, the service plan. Yes, buy the service plan for $300 for this $1,000 TV, and that's a pure profit just about. All right, anyhow, you would add up all the sales and do the commission. All right, so here's a fine lease commission on a $14,799 sale if he gets 11% commission. This would be pretty nice. Because, hey, what's 10% of $14,000? What's 10% of 14,000? 1,400. So it's going to be more than that, right? A little common sense. And again, this is straight multiplication. Commission equals percent times the total sales. I just like to abbreviate. But I like to start with my equation. So I just use C for commission, percent symbol for percent, and TS for total sales. And look, you're looking for the commission. 11%, 0.11 times our $14,799. And you're just going to punch it in. 0.11 times 14,799 equals $1,627.89. 1,600. Don't be a copier. Punch your own numbers in. Copy your own screen. Be a thinker. If you're a copier, you're not learning a thing. Got to be thinking, right? That's pretty simplistic. Commission. It's a part of the whole. Sue is a realtor making 2% commission. By the way, whenever you buy or sell a house, you pay 3.5% commission to the seller's realtor and 3.5% commission to the buyer's realtor. A total of 7% of the house sale. And of course, the more the house costs, then the more percent you got, the more money they get. So, if 3.5% goes to the company, maybe 2% goes to that realtor itself. And that would be what they would make on the sale. So if you're selling $1 million home, you're going to make a whole lot more than if you sell a $100,000 home. All right, so go ahead and figure out Sue's commission on this $415,000 house. Go ahead, you do it at your seat while I do it up here. Again, these are pretty simplistic. That wouldn't be a bad day's work. Too bad they can't sell a house like that every day, right? That wouldn't be bad for a month, right? I mean, that'd be almost $100,000 a month, $100,000 a year if you had that much every month. So $8,300, is that what you got? $8,300 on the commission on the sale of that house. Our area, that's not uncommon to sell a $412,000, $15,000 home. Go a little bit in some places in our area. You can sell a $700,000 home, $800,000 home. Go closer to DC and sell $1 million home, right? All right, still dealing with money. Markup. All right, the way business works is this. A merchant buys their merchandise at cost. For example, let's suppose Walmart is selling, I don't know, what are they going to sell? A skateboard. And so you look in the store and its skateboard is, what does skateboards sell for these days? Okay, $79.99 is the price of that skateboard. Well, Walmart didn't pay $79.99, and Walmart didn't make it either. They bought it from somebody and are selling it to you. They're the middlemen. So they buy it at cost, and then they mark it up. One of the biggest markups in the industry is clothing. Clothing could have sometimes 100% markup or more, oftentimes more. You ever seen clothing sales at 50% off? Yeah, and guess what? They're probably still making money. That means they had over 100% markup on that item to begin with. That's the way the world works. The merchant buys the material at cost and then sells it to you at retail. So the cost plus the markup equals the retail price. The cost plus the markup equals the retail price. The retail price is what you would go to the store and buy it for. So cost plus markup equals the retail price. And the markup will equal the markup percent times the cost. In other words, how much are they going to mark up this item? And look, here again, the markup is the part and the cost is the whole. The markup is part of the whole. Merchant gets it for so much, they decide, hey, these items are going to mark up 40%. Okay. Whatever they paid for it, they figure a 40% increase and add it to their cost. Sell it to you at that 40% increase. And that's the way the world works. And the more people that sell the item, then the cheaper they have to sell it for. The less people that sell the item, the more they can get away with it. Right? What if somebody's the only one selling an item? Now they can jack the price up because there's no competition. That's a free market system. Right? Anti-socialism. Amen. The more... Apple's the only one with an iPhone, right? Guess what? They can sell it for as much as they think they can get you to buy it for, because there's no competition. And Samsung may try to be some competition, but their phones are burning up, so that's not really good competition, right? When your phones are causing fires. All right, anyhow. So find the markup and retail price of an item where the cost is $125 and the markup rate is 20%. Okay, so this is pretty easy. We'll do the markup first. So the markup is the percent times the cost. And again, I just like to abbreviate MU equals percent times C. Because again, the markup's just a part, right? This is real simple. What we're finding is what's 20% of $125, right? Isn't that what we're figuring out? What's 20% of 125 bucks? So that's straight multiplication, 0.2 times 125. Anybody got an answer on that one? Just say it if you got it. 25 bucks, right? Remember, you're in money. Hey, notice little things. I keep the money sign with it, right? To remind myself I'm dealing in money. So how would you get the retail price? Somebody tell me how to get the retail price. Amber? Yeah. So the retail price is going to be the cost plus the markup. Again, that's common sense. So we're going to take our cost of $125 and we're going to add our $25 markup, and they're going to sell that to you at $150 if they can get full retail price for it. Maybe they have a sale at 10% off, right? Are they still making money? Yeah, they're still making money. So that's the way the world works, and that's the way you purchase and buy things. How about this one? Find the cost and markup rate if the retail price is $59.40 after a markup of $8.91. These problems are tricky. You have to be careful, and you have to understand the formula. All right. Now, I made it easier because I asked for the cost. Because if I didn't ask you for the cost and I just said find the markup rate, write this in your notes because this is where you would be going. If I wanted to know the markup rate, I would do markup equals percent times the cost, right? You see how I need the cost to find the markup rate? So be careful on these. A lot of times students want to use the $8.91 and the $59.40 to find the rate. You can't do that. You're taking a percent of the wrong amount. So cost is easy, right? So there's a couple different ways you can do the regular formula, but isn't our cost going to be the $59.40 minus the markup, $8.91? Does that make sense? I mean, that's common sense, right? They're selling the item for $59.40 and they marked it up $8.91. The cost must be those two subtracted. So somebody subtract that on the calculator and give me a number here. Anybody got a number for me on that? Edward, what do you got? $50.49. $50.49, is that what it is? Right, and that looks like, yeah, that looks right. $50.49, right? Okay, now we got our cost. Now we're in business. Because that's what's got to go in here, right? So now we take the markup. We know that's $8.91. We're looking for a percent. Again, I like to use P for the percent. You can leave the percent symbol there if you want. Times the cost, $50.49. And now see where we're back to? An easy equation to solve, right? So go ahead and finish it out. Go ahead and finish that out. And again, I like to round to one decimal place. Anybody there yet? Say it if you got it. 17.6. Yeah, 17.6%, right? And again, if you want to read it in your calculator, multiply times 100 and you'll read your screen and you won't mess up on the round-offs, right? So So we're going to round to 1 decimal place. Everybody okay with that? So cost and markup. Just be careful in this problem. If you're given the retail price and you're given the markup, make sure you find the cost first to be able to find that markup percent. Okay, let's go the other way. What about discount and sale price? Discount and sale price. This is the opposite direction, right? So now your retail price minus your discount is going to give the sale price. And that's common sense. You guys know that. Retail price, what were they originally asking for the item, minus whatever discount, and you'll get the sale price. Common sense. So the discount would be the discount percent. Let's say we're going to sell 15% off. Okay, what do? They take 15% of the retail price to find the discount. Discount, and again, look, the discount is a part and the retail price is the whole, right? And once you start doing enough of these, hopefully you begin to see the pattern and see how it all connects and think it through. Because look, the idea is there are too many formulas. And if you try to memorize all the different formulas, markup and markup rate and retail price and sale price, you could go crazy. You got to use a little bit of common sense and just think it through, part and wholes, and you'll be fine if you'll just think part and wholes. Okay, so how about this question? Find the discount and sale price if the retail price is $92 and the discount rate is 18%. Okay, so this is a two-part problem the way it's asked. And so let's just approach it the way it's asked. The discount, again, is real simplistic. The discount is a part, right? And it's the percent times the whole, which in this case is the retail price. So I use D for discount equals percent times RP, retail price. Can somebody put it in words? I mean, what you're doing here, it's hard to ask this question. Would you agree we're trying to find 18% of $92? Right, does that make sense? Right, 18% of $92. So again, you can think number equals percent times. You have number if you think that through, right? So we want 18% of $92. So straightforward, right? 0.18 times your $92. And we'll figure out how much they're going to take off on this item. Anybody got that for me? Mackenzie, what do you got? Yeah, I got $16.56, so $16.56. Okay, and so the sale price would be what? I mean, common sense, right? Do we need a formula for sale price? Right, you know, to take the $92 and subtract from it the $16.56, right? Anybody got the answer for me? Luke, what do you got?
$75.44.
$75.44, I agree. $75.44. I want to take a quick second and tie into yesterday. So put your thinking cap on. What if I gave you the sale price of 92 cents, or retail price $92, discount rate of 18, and all I asked you for was the sale price? Can anybody do this in one equation? Can you find the sale price in one equation? Luke?
0.18 times 92 minus that answer minus 92.
Making it too complicated. It's easier. Anybody else think of doing this? I want the sale price in one step, one equation, if the retail price is 92 and the discount rate 18%. We did this yesterday. Hey, if I'm getting 18% off, what percent am I paying? What percent am I paying? So can't you do 82% of $92? Go ahead and try it in your calculator. Punch in 0.82 times 92. You should get 75.44, right? Right? You can do it in one step. Remember, take the 100 minus 18 because you're going to pay 82%. All right? So one way of doing that, if they only asked that one question. All right, let's look at B here. Come on, go high. Find the retail price and discount rate if the sale price is $21.93 and the discount rate, or the discount, was $3.57. Again, here we have to be careful. Here we have to be careful, and we have to understand that the discount is the percent times the retail price. That you got to be careful about. So again, I asked for the retail price, but that won't always be the case. So how do we get the retail price? Because it doesn't tell us. How would you get the retail price? Because isn't it, we need the retail price, right? How would you get it? Allison? Yeah, so you got a sell price. Just add in whatever the discount was, right? You'll get back to what it was before the discount. And so that gives us a retail price of what? That's a 0, that's a 5, that's a 5, $25.50. Right? Does that make sense? Right? Because it's now $21.93. We took $3.57 off, so let's add it back in and find out what the retail price was. Now can we find the discount rate? Now we can. Right? We know the discount, $3.57. We're looking for the percent, and we're using the retail price. You can't use the sale price there. You'll get a wrong answer. All right, so again, just divide both sides by 25.50. Punch that in. Anybody got that for me? Colby, what do you got?
14%.
Anybody agree? 14%. Is that a round off or is it right on? Right on. Awesome. All right, so 14% was the percent discount. All right? All right, we got to keep going. We're not done. Keep going. We're rolling. This is all one lesson anyhow. If I had time, I would break it up into two, but I don't have time. All right, let's deal with simple issues. By the way, we've done all this last year. Every single thing I've talked about today, we've done last year. Every single thing. There was nothing new so far. All right. Anybody remember the simple interest formula? Oh, a bunch of you. Awesome. Hannah, give it to me. She said P times R times T equals I. I agree. All right, let's refresh our memories as to what each of those means. Anybody remember what the P is? Christina? I almost called you Mackenzie again. It's not the percent. That's the tricky thing here. Raph? It's the principal, like a principal of a school. Principal. Principal. And it's the money you blank or blank. Anybody remember that? What's the principal mean? Money you, Edward?
Gain or lose.
That's the interest. What's the principal? Anna? It's the money you borrow or the money you invest. So money invested or borrowed. You invest $10,000, that's the principal. You borrow $15,000 to buy a car, that's the principal. All right, so it's the money you invest or the money you borrow. The R is the rate or the interest rate. R is the interest rate. And of course, it's always in decimal form. We know that, right? But be careful here. So let me give you a couple things to think about for the time. T is the time in, everybody remember? Years. So in this formula, you got to put the time in years. So just to be careful, let's go through a couple possibilities. I mean, obviously, if they said 7 years, you use 7, right? I think you guys can handle that. What do you use if they say 6 months? What would you use? Let's go easier than a half. Let's go 0.5 because we have a calculator, right? And 0.5 will work better than a half. You could use a half, but then you got fractions. Just go 0.5. Let's go decimals. What would you use for 9 months? 0.75, right? Perfect. 18 months? 1.5, right? Year and a half. Quarterly. 0.25, right? Okay, good. So, and again, they may give you something other than that. Hey, what's semi-annually mean? Semi-annually. That's every half year, so you use 0.5, right? Semi is half annually, half a year. So semi-annually is same as 6 months. It would be 0.5. All right, and then I is the interest. And what is interest? It's extra money earned if you're investing. But it's extra money paid if you're borrowing. Or owed. Maybe owed is the way I said it before. Doesn't matter. Right? If you borrow, you got to pay extra money for borrowing the money, right? We're going to make you pay extra money for borrowing the money. That's the way it works. But if you invest your money, we'll give you extra money for investing your money. If you're investing. So it's way better to invest than to borrow. Which is why the credit card companies offer you points back. You know why? So people will use their credit card and then not be able to pay. And you know the credit card company doesn't want you to be able to pay your bill. Invest means, so you can, if you have extra money, you can take that money and you can buy stock in the stock market. You can buy what's called a certificate of deposit. You could buy savings bonds. You could buy municipal bonds. There are ways to invest your money where you give a company, a government, etc., your money, they use it, and you get a return on your money for them using your money. And it works well if you find the right investment. The stock market could be up, could be down. You just don't know. You can gain money, you could lose money. Other things are more sure. All right, wish I had time to talk about it because that's an interesting topic. All right, let's do Tim. Tim borrowed $8,000 at 7.5% simple interest for 5 years. How much total did he pay back? All right, so let's run the problem. I'm going to show you exactly what happens. P times R times T equals I, or you could do it the other way around. We could do I equals P times R times T. Let's do it that way. I equals P times R times T. Symmetric property, right? When we do word problems later on, we'll switch it around the other way. Okay, somebody give me one of the 3 spots to fill in. Give me a spot. Mackenzie, what do you want? For which one? Principal is 8,000. I'm going to keep the dollar sign to remind me of money. 2 spots left. Somebody give me a spot. No one give me a spot.
The rate is 7.5.
So what do I write?
Well, you would write 0.075.
Correct. 0.075, right? Always in decimal form. And I think you guys all agree that the time is 5. All right, so it's a calculator from here. 8,000 times 0.075 times 5 equals $3,000. You know how many people give me an answer of $3,000 on this question? A lot. Because my answer makes sense. Look at the question. How much total did he pay back? So are you telling me he borrowed $8,000 and he only has to pay $3,000 back? Give me that deal any day. Can I borrow $8,000 from you and only pay you back $3,000? That would be a great deal. So what do we find? We only found the extra money he's got to pay. To pay everything back, it's principal plus interest is the total. Whoa, it's a funny looking eye. Principal plus interest is the payback amount, right? So he pays back the $8,000 plus the $3,000. Total $11,000. That's what it's going to cost them to borrow that money. That's what it's going to cost. Somebody borrows money for a car. Look, these days, if you borrow $20,000 for a car, you're going to end up paying about $27,000 for the privilege of financing that car. That's the way life works. So what's better? Pay cash if you can. Obviously, you avoid the extra money paid if you can pay cash. Unfortunately, today, most people just figure, well, let's charge it. You know, I don't really have to pay for it. Oh, really? And by the way, a credit card is one of the worst things. Credit card rates can be at high, that they could start at 18% and go up to 30-something%. And people get their cards maxed out, and something that may initially have cost them 10 grand may end up costing them $50,000 by the time they're done paying everything off. It's a trap that you don't want to fall into. Okay, let's finish this last one. Sue received $43.20 interest on a $12,000 investment. For simple interest rate was 8%. How long was the money invested? Just run the formula. Interest equals principal times rate times time. All right, see if you can find it. We'll end here. Hey, before you do this problem, in case the bell's going to ring, I don't think it will. Everybody look at me for a second. I'm combining the assignment on the previous page and this one. So I want you guys to do all the odds here, but I'm adding 27. Only the odds, but add 27 between 26 and 28. You're only doing the odds. And on this page, you're only doing the odds, all right? Because it's two together, I don't want to overburden you. So only the odds from the previous page, but include 27, and then only the odds from here. So it's 21, 23, 46 from this page. All right, so finish this one off now that you know all that, and I'll work it while you work it. Careful how you punch it into your calculator. Ask, does my answer make sense? If not, you probably punched it in your calculator wrong. Does my answer make sense? If not, you probably punched it in wrong. Remember what we're looking for, percent, right? No, we're looking for a time. Right? It's a straight answer. Anybody got it for me? Say it if you know it. And so it's going to be years, right? Because we're always in years. So 4.5 years. Again, that parentheses will save you. I like to do top divided by divided by. That's how I punch it. 4,320 divided by 12,000 divided by 0.08. If you don't do it that way, use the parentheses. Everybody got the assignment right? Just the odds, but add 27. Just the odds from this. Only doing odds. Everybody got that? Just doing odds. Just doing odds. If any of you end up in the PSAT, need to have your homework on my desk before you go take the PSAT. Homework on my desk before you go take the PSAT. Have a great day.